Hi guys, welcome to the recap from today's lesson on inequalities. So we talked about a basic of inequalities and then also started to get into how to solve addition and subtraction inequalities. So on our first page, we had just a quick review of how to graph an inequality. If you remember, I asked you to copy down this first sentence up here onto your piece of paper that talked about when to have an open circle and when to have a closed circle. That's going to be super important. Okay. And then we talked about when we graph an inequality, we want to start with the number. So the number here I'm starting with is the -2. I'm going to put a circle on my number line at the -2. And then I need to figure out if I'm going to leave it open or if I'm going to leave it closed. Well, an open circle lets us know that that number does not work for our inequality, that it's not true. A closed circle tells us that it is true. So I can always test it. I can say -2 is less than -2. Well, -2 is not less than -2, so we're going to leave it open. The other way we know to leave it open is because it doesn't have that or equal to underneath it. Okay? So when it doesn't have that line there, we're going to leave an open circle. And then we have to figure out which way to shade our number line, which way to draw our arrow. Right? Well, I have x is greater than -2. So it means I want all those numbers bigger. Well, the bigger numbers are to the right on the number line, so I need to have the numbers to the right of the number line. Okay. Looking at number 2, we have r is less than -5. Same concept. I'm going to start with drawing a circle at the spot for -5. I'm going to leave it open because it's not or equal to, it's just less than. Okay. And then because I want those numbers that are less than -5, the smaller ones, the smaller numbers are to the left on a number line. So I'm going to draw my arrow to the left. Okay. And if you look, our problem gives us a little bit of a hint as to what direction to draw our arrow. In number 1, because it's a greater than sign, it pointed to the right, which is the same direction as the arrowhead when we go to draw our line. On number 2, the less than symbol points to the left, so does the arrowhead when we go to graph it. So that's a helpful tip as well. But it only works when the variable is on the left. Okay, if the variable is on the right, it's not going to work. Okay. Then let's look down here at number 4. K is greater than or equal to -5. So again, I start with the -5, but this time it says or equal to. Okay, well, if I test it, is -5 greater than or equal to -5? Well, it is, right? Because -5 is equal to -5. So that means I'm going to come through and I'm going to color in my circle this time around. Okay, it has that or equal to, so it's a closed circle. And then I want all the values that are bigger than -5. So I'm going to again draw my arrow to the right. And again, my greater than symbol kind of points the way. Okay. Fast forwarding down to number 11, we started talking about how to write an inequality. Okay, and the letter doesn't matter. I could have all of these X's, N's, P's, Q's, T's, right? I'm just going to use an X. The number matters and the sign matters. So my circle is at the number 1, and my arrow is pointing to the left, so I'm going to use that less than sign. Now, if you look at my circle, it's not closed in, so I'm going to leave it like this. So X is less than 1. Coming over here to number 12, my number that is graphed is the number 6. And it is a closed circle at the number 6, so I'm going to automatically put in my or equal to symbol. And if I look, I'm graphing the numbers that are bigger than 6 or greater than, so I'm going to use that greater than sign. Okay. And we're going to fast forward a couple more to start solving inequalities. Okay, and this is on page 3 in that inequality packet that you got today. I'm going to think about an inequality just like I would an equation. So p plus 9 being greater than or equal to 18, I'm going to think in my head that it's p plus 9 is equal to 18. Okay, and we've done these. We've done one-step equations, right? We use the inverse operation. Okay? It's the same concept. If it was an equation, you would subtract 9 from each side. Well, with it being an inequality, we're going to do the exact same thing. Okay? So p plus 9 is greater than or equal to 18. Okay, we're going to show our work below the number line because there's more room down there. We're going to subtract 9 from each side. And again, with it being an equality statement, we do have to make sure that it stays balanced. Okay. Plus 9 and minus 9 are additive inverses, which means that I'm left with a p on the left-hand side. P is greater than or equal to 9. Okay. Then I'm going to graph my answer. A circle at 9, I'm going to close it in because it's or equal to. Arrow pointing to the right because it's or greater than. Okay. Number 2 on this page is similar, but there's a little bit of a difference because of where the a is. Okay. Our whole purpose is to get the variable by itself, right? So I don't want to add 17 to both sides of the equation. I start with finding my a, and I see that next to my a is a negative 20. I'll get rid of a negative 20 with adding 20, or a plus 20. So I'm going to add 20 to both sides of my inequality sign. These are additive inverses. So I'm left with 3 being greater than or equal to a. So I can go ahead and color in the dot on the 3, but I don't want to draw my arrow just yet. Because if you think about it, our arrow was going in the direction of the symbol when the variable was first. But we don't have the variable first. So I'm going to come over here and rewrite this, putting the variable first. But I need to think about what sign to use. Okay? This is saying that 3 is bigger than or equal to a, which must mean then that a is smaller or less than or equal to 3. Okay? So when I flip-flop which one goes first, I have to make sure that I flip my sign. Now I can easily graph it. A is less than or equal to 3, so I bring my arrow out to the left. Alright, well that is it for this quick tutorial. If you have any questions, please make sure that you are asking during class. When it gets to the fractions and the decimals, feel free to use your calculator, but you have to show your work on your paper first. Otherwise, you don't know what you're putting into your calculator. You want to make sure that you're using addition when you need to, subtraction when you need to, positives and negatives, all that good stuff. All right, so that does it for today. Have a great rest of your day.